Well, it's now Saturday afternoon, and I am no less confused than I was this morning, but I've had time to do a little bit of research. Thought I would update some of my thoughts after, looking at tape, stats, and all that sort of thing. And now there is no news in terms of who's leaving or who's not coming. So I'll start that off. I'm not going to keep you here just waiting to hear that. I'm exactly why they went for these two players isn't entirely clear. There's some possibilities. Now, looking at Ryder Burton, high school football in Utah. So that's, I guess, more or less how he ended up at BYU. Coming out of high school, he was essentially a mid-range, middling 3-star rating, and came to BYU with high expectations on his own part, I guess. Now, whether or not, but BYU, I don't know what is up there. They are bringing quarterbacks in right, left, up, and down, bringing them in from high school, bringing them in as transfers. And if I were a BYU fan, I'd be a little disturbed because it doesn't look like they really know what they're doing. Doesn't look like they can commit to developing a quarterback and aren't even committing to those they bring in from the portal. They brought them in from the portal last year, more from the portal this year. And it got to the point there were 10 quarterbacks. That might be 10 scholarship quarterbacks, I'm not sure. So the fact that Burton just got the heck out of there is not that surprising. And probably a pretty good decision because it does not sound like a good situation, not a good culture. Now looking at his record back in high school senior year, 201 passing attempts, so not a lot, about 20 a game. Completed about 52% for an average of 18.8 yards. Now that may sound a little bit familiar because that's a whole lot like Garrett Green's, situation. Lower completion percentage, higher per yard record. And I am not saying he is Garrett Green, but one similarity. His senior year, he threw for 21 touchdowns, which was quite good, and only 6 interceptions. So that looks good. And his interception to TD ratio was significantly improved his senior year over his junior year. Carried 37 times, 118 yards with a long of 40. And, from what I looked at, let's see, also listed at, anywhere from 6'1" to 6'2", depending on what page you're looking at. At least one listing had him as 180. I think that was more a high school listing. Don't know what BYU managed to do. And this is Bianca, by the way. He keeps his eyes downfield very well. Even if he's flushed out of the pocket, and when he ran right and then ran left, still kept his eyes downfield. This is a good thing. He looks to throw a very catchable ball. has touch, gets air under it when necessary, and he can throw it into a small target. There were a number of, the highlights where it was a really well selected spot. And, I was kind of worried, with the way he was throwing into some of those small openings. I expected a lot of interceptions. When I checked that stat, no. So that may be one of the points of interest. And he definitely, senior year in high school had no trouble getting the ball downfield. He runs more like Marchiol than Green. Now, which is not a knock on any of them. Marchiol is a strong dual threat quarterback. He's more of a straight line runner than Green. Burton was not afraid to put his head down when he got near the goal line, and just generally did not seem to want to go down when somebody got a shot at him. So he's not afraid to run. He is capable of running. Looks to be a better passer than runner, but when the open field was there, he didn't hesitate. Picked up, has typically been a cornerback. Some people are talking about him possibly being a safety at West Virginia. I don't know where he's going to play, but if he plays at safety, he would be less likely to see time on the field. We're maybe not as deep at safety, but we do have, guys to play there that Tarnue would have trouble overcoming. Now, Tarnue has 2 years to play one. He's got a redshirt year left. Some people are talking about him using the red shirt this year, playing next year. I doubt it. I don't think he would come under those circumstances. And I think next year, the room, corner and safety will likely both be more crowded. This is the year. He is effectively replacing Miller's year. So now Tarnue, about 6'1". On Huddle in high school, he listed his 40-yard speed at 4.4. How accurate that is, don't know. I know Joseph will crank it up, whatever it is, and probably put 10 pounds of muscle on him between now and fall camp. It's about 6'1", decent size for corner or safety. He is not afraid to hit. Didn't have an exceptional number of tackles, but a high number of individual tackles. He got a grip on a guy, the guy was down. I didn't see as much just straight on hits, a lot more going for the lower legs than I would like, but his missed tackle rate is very low, which is very good. Okay, quick bit of history, not sure how much this matters. Born in Liberia, do not have anything on, whether or not he played American football in Liberia. Came to the U.S., played football in Minnesota, high school football. Then moved up junior college for 2 years, then Jacksonville State for a year. So he's working his way up. And we know how Coach Brown likes trajectory. If he did not play American football in Liberia or only started shortly before coming here, then he has progressed at a fairly significant rate. Um, what I liked in the highlights, he plays the ball in the air like a guy we got to know really well named Beanie Bishop. He's a little taller than Bishop, but we may be seeing a similar trajectory. Of course, Bishop was at Minnesota before coming to WVU, so we're not talking about the same jump. Jacksonville State to Power 4 is a big jump, but I like the way he plays the ball. Now he had one sack, was a nice little blitz. Don't know if they just didn't choose to use him that way much, but I think we're going to do a lot of blitzing off the edge, be it spear or corners. So he may be useful for that. Had a punt block return for a touchdown. So definitely a special teams player. Has his own YouTube page, which includes a video about being the most versatile defensive back. Also has one from his JUCO days showing day in the life of JUCO. So if you want to check that out, it's Kekoura Joseph Tarnue. I'll try and remember and put the link in the comments here. But how each of these guys is going to play out, definite mystery to me. I'm sure the coaches have a pretty strong plan. Burton obviously is not a plan for this year. Tarnue almost certainly is. We've got Garnes and Hollis look like likely starters. Crandall and Crandall spells Jackson all looking to play. And I think I'm leaving out one. But can Tarnue, I think Tarnue has a shot at the 2 deep, definitely. Could he move up to be a starter? We haven't seen any of these guys enough to know. So I have high expectations and even higher hopes. How it's all going to play out, I don't know. But West Virginia, I think, is definitely building a reputation off of Beanie Bishop as a place to go to take that next step up so that you can take the next step in the draft. Of course, if Bishop sticks with the Steelers or somebody else, that'll sure help that reputation. All right, I have errands to run, and it's getting late. Got to be someplace before they close. So thanks for watching. If more updates come, I'll let you know. I am planning to do a video about draft prospects. That subject came up on one of the boards, raised some interesting questions. Something we haven't had a chance to talk about that much. But this whole thing of Coach Brown doesn't put guys in the NFL is changing. And it's changing because his guys are graduating. So I'll be talking to you later. Thanks for dropping in. Please subscribe. If you feel like donating, there's always PayPal. And I think I will try to remember to put my email for that into the comments. So long, guys, and I'll talk to you maybe when I'm feeling a little more rational, a little less confused. So long.